Hey there, folks, and welcome into the Truck King YouTube channel. Well, Dad, 2024 is in the books, so now we have seen all of the truck sales. We also know that last year Toyota announced a massive engine recall, and we know when this new generation Tundra came out, it got more expensive. So would you be surprised to find out that the Tundra just had its best sales year ever in Canada and its second best sales year in the States?
Steve, I am very surprised at this. I think we should talk about it.
Yeah, let's dive into it right now. We will jump into that conversation about Tundra sales really soon, but first, let's just talk about the truck we're actually driving today. So this is the Tundra TRD Pro, which comes exclusively powered by the iForce Max hybrid powertrain. It's a 3.5-liter V6 mated to a hybrid setup. Total system output, 437 horsepower and 583 pound-feet of torque sent through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Now, because this is the TRD Pro, it does get unique styling, like that Toyota Heritage grille with the big letters. You get the marker lights up here in the grille, which is pretty nice. And then this is our TRD Pro color for 2025. Doesn't really stand out like some of the TRD Pro colors from the past. I will say, though, it does hide the dirt and the mud really well. So why don't you just drop in the comments and let me know what you think about the styling on this truck and the color. Continuing around the truck, let's look at all the features that you get with TRD Pro. You get a set of 18-inch BBS wheels. They are blacked out, which is nice. Falken Wild Peak tires here as standard. And then behind that, you are getting upgraded suspension for our TRD Pro thanks to Fox 2.5-inch shocks and then TRD Pro springs and sway bars as well. So yes, the suspension's fully redone. You're getting a set of rock rails, and you're also getting a full skid plate package underneath this truck. Out back here on our Tundra TRD Pro today, we have a 5.5-foot bed. It does have one neat feature over here in the tail light. A button that will drop that powered tailgate. Now on the Tacoma, they've added the button to the driver and passenger side. Tundra, it's still only over here on the driver's side. Now talking about the bed, the one feature you got to point out is a 400-watt plug. So nice to have a little bit of power. And then on the downside of this bed, and it's winter time, so I can speak confidently about this, it is slippery. This is the composite bed, so it's not steel with the bed liner, it's composite plastic. And because of that, yeah, it just gets really slick when it gets wet, when it gets snow in it. I've been hauling things back here all week, and they just have a tendency to slide all over the place. Now, you can get a bed liner here, you can get a bed mat, you can get some of those rubber mats. Any of those solutions will work, but I will say to Tundra owners or prospective Tundra owners, you probably want to look into that if you live in a place that gets a lot of snow, because the bed is just straight up slippery. Now, finally, we can talk towing and payload. Off of our 2-inch hitch back there, you're towing just over 11,000 pounds with the TRD Pro. And then I'll go take a look at the door jamb sticker. Payload on this truck is 1,200 pounds. Now let's get out of the cold, go for a drive, and talk more about why this Tundra has been so successful. Alrighty folks, and now here we are driving in this Tundra TRD Pro. So first of all, let me say, if you want to really hear our thoughts on the specific truck, how it performs, how it drives, you know, we've driven one of these things to the Arctic. That whole series is here on the channel. We've driven this truck in the mud. We've towed with this truck. So if you want to hear our thoughts on how the truck handles, go watch those videos. Right now, I want to just talk more about, you know, the sales and why we think the Tundra's been so successful in the last year, in light of the fact that we know Toyota's had a couple issues. The biggest one, the most concrete one, has to be the massive engine recall here in the Tundra. Toyota is replacing 100,000 engines, which feels especially bad when you're a brand that's built on its reputation for reliability. So I don't know, Dad. What do you think? In light of the the recall and some of the teething issues they've had with Tacoma, how do you think Tundra's been bucking the trend and been so successful?
I think one of the things that Toyota has going for it is how they deal with problems. And over the long haul, Toyota's attitude has been identify and fix. They don't wait, nor do they allow problems to pile up at the dealer and wait until somebody forces them to do a recall, which, as we all know, is not uncommon in the industry.
Sure.
So, and to go one step further, I truly believe if I'm the guy that has one of these new Tundras and I get a notice that says we're going to give you a new engine because we think that that's what it needs, I'm not going to be upset about that. I'm going to say, okay, you knew it was a problem, you got it fixed, done. Thank you very much. The problem is when a guy has a truck that just in and out of the dealer and in and out of the dealer, and you're like, no, I can't be the only one. And everybody just keeps going, no, you're unique, sir. This hasn't happened anywhere else.
Right.
And then 2 years later, you find out that, there's 100,000 trucks with the same problem. So I think that is really key to Toyota's success in that area.
Yeah, and we even heard, I even met someone personally who had a turbo on one of these new Tundras blow up, and we were hearing that story a bit, that really early on they were having some turbocharger issues. That seems to have gone away too, because I agree with you, Toyota, more so than some other brands, feels like they find those problems and they address them as quickly as they can, which is why they have a reputation for reliability. So, I think anytime a new generation of vehicle rolls out, there's probably always going to be some issue, but of all the brands out there, yeah, I do feel like Toyota probably deals with it the best.
Yeah, absolutely, and that is to their credit. And the other part of this success story, which I think, and we talked about it earlier, is that Toyota has been telling us for years, we sell every Tundra that we can build, which also means that oftentimes you can't get a Tundra because they run up against a supply issue. Now, as most people know, Tacoma production, some of the production had already gone to Mexico, but a great deal of it was still in San Antonio, in Texas, where the Tundra is also built. Well, they moved all of Tundra to the Mexican plant. They moved all of Tacoma to the Mexican plant, and now the entire line is dedicated to Tundra. And so you don't have a problem. You can get a Tundra.
Right.
And I think that alone has pushed the numbers.
Yeah, they managed to boost that supply and make it available to everybody. And I have one other theory, and right now it's just a theory, but it's very simply that the Nissan Titan is going away. And I do feel like if you were already, a Nissan customer, you were maybe already more drawn to the Japanese trucks rather than the American trucks, well, this is going to be your next stop. If you say, you know what, I loved my Nissan, I'm not getting a new Titan because it's going away, maybe I'll get into a Toyota. So I don't know. I feel like maybe Toyota picked up a few sales from that too.
I think there's got to be some spillover in there as well. Not to mention, you've got absolute, pandemonium going on over at Ram.
Sure.
In terms of what's going on with them. And so when you're dropping, 20-25% sales in a year, well, those people went somewhere.
Right. Yeah, and the other brands picked up a little bit, but it feels like Tundra picked up a lot.
So they would have gone to GM, they would have gone to Ford, but they would have also have gone to Tundra.
And then, we have to credit the truck itself, too, because it is quite a good truck, right? I've been driving this thing for the better part of a week. It's quiet and comfortable. A huge change for this new generation was moving away from the leaf springs. I think everyone knew that the last-gen Tundra, it really drove like a truck, and now it's much more livable day to day. So, yeah, you got to credit the engineers too and the designers for giving us a good truck. Tons of power too with this hybrid. I mean, you put your foot into it and this thing just absolutely jumps up to speed. Now we do have to mention the pricing here as well. That's obviously going to massively affect sales. And you know what? We can't chalk up more sales to the pricing because this truck got more expensive. It got more expensive with this new generation. The truck we're riding in here today is a $90,000 truck here in Canada. And actually, Dad, I was surprised to see that the Capstone, the top luxury version, is nearly $97,000 here in Canada. So the TRD Pro isn't even the most expensive one here. It's the Capstone. But yeah, pricing keeps going up and people keep buying these trucks. And I should also say that when I was looking up the pricing for this truck, I went poking around on all of the other manufacturers' build and price websites. And General Motors on a Silverado ZR2, they were offering big incentives according to the website. Ford was offering incentives on the Tremor. Ram had incentives on the 1500. Toyota, according to the website, no incentives whatsoever. You're paying sticker. So I think we're also now finally past this world of knowing you're going to pay more than sticker. The truth is, basically everyone's going to give you a discount at the dealer. It just doesn't feel like Toyota is. So that also speaks to the strength of the product when it's not like they're discounting it. They're not getting their sales that way.
When they're sitting around the marketing table, the first question is, so where are our sales? Are we up? We don't need to offer discounts.
Yeah, fair enough. And they're definitely not doing that. So, we talk a lot about truck pricing, and I think the general feeling has been that maybe truck pricing will start to come down a little bit because we've kind of hit this sales plateau, but that's not the case at Toyota.
Well, I'm hoping that particularly as, we've been talking a little bit about Ram, who's probably, in the greatest turmoil, and even the new CEO at Ram has come out and said, yeah, you know what, we went too far, prices are too high. That is an unusual statement for a CEO.
Sure.
So he's already offering incentives, but I suspect that over the next year we're going to see deeper cuts. Well, everybody else can't just sit where they are, even Toyota. So I'm hopeful that we'll see a little bit cheaper prices by next year.
Yeah, me too. And then the one other part of the equation, which I think always needs to be mentioned, is of all the full-size trucks, this is your best resale value by a lot. So I think that's another reason why prices stay up, is because Toyota knows people pay attention to that resale, and because you're not losing that much driving off the lot, they can afford to charge more right off the bat too.
Yeah, I mean, all these pluses seem to line up where Toyota's concerned. And so once again, here we go, and they're conquesting. It's interesting to think that Tundra. There's still lots of people who go, oh, well, that's the new Tundra. Well, this was introduced in 2007. Okay, we're coming up quick on 20 years that this truck's been around. So I think people are kind of waking up to the fact that this is now not the new kid on the block, but the mainstream.
Right. Yeah. It just takes a long time to really establish yourself. All right, that's enough talking sales, Dad. I want to see how this truck really performs. So now it's in deep snow mode. We can't go up north to our normal trails because there's too much snow, but where we're at here, there's just this nice, light, fluffy snow over top of these sandy trails. So let's go hit it. And of course, TRD Pro, it is a high-speed package. This thing was born in the desert. That was always the marketing for it. So we got to get some speed going. Oh my God, we're sliding all over the place.
Yeah, don't hit a stump.
Okay, try not to hit a stump.
That's the only problem with snow.
Yeah, you can't see what's underneath
there.
But again, you know what? Feel the suspension, right? I'm doing 50 kilometers an hour, and it feels pretty nice right now.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's not a V8, but it doesn't sound half bad. A lot of people like to really get on these turbos for the way they sound, but Toyota did a nice job there too.
They tune the exhaust. It's decent.
There's 65. Oh man. And this is amazing. And you know what? I'll never say that a truck worth 90 grand like this is necessarily good value, but when you come out and do stuff like this and just feel what you can do, the engineering is pretty amazing, man.
And we're not stuck yet.
We're not stuck yet. Don't say that. Don't wish bad things on us. And these are stock tires, not even snows. They're definitely slipping more than a dedicated set of snow tires would be. But yeah, that was not half bad. Nicely done, Tundra. Well, folks, we are coming to the end of this one. Now, honestly, no matter what you think about the reliability, the lack of V8, you can't argue with the fact that this new generation Tundra has been a successful seller. Actually, the best year of Tundra ever was 2007 when the truck was first introduced, and number 2 is 2024. So, Dad, with all that in mind, how are you feeling about the Tundra?
It's a consistent performer, but more past that, it's been fun here in the snow, but you know what? I've had enough. I'm heading south. So this might be the last video you'll be seeing of me till spring.
Yeah, and then you'll see how he towed his fifth wheel down there. But anyways, that's for another video. For now, drop in the comments. Let us know what you think about this Tundra and Tundra truck sales last year. As always, while you're down there, don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe, hit join to become a member, and then come right back here to Truck King to see what we're testing next. See ya.
See ya.